Buses in computer systems are, there are various buses in our computer system. So how many of you know what is bus? Okay, everybody might have traveled through a bus. Yeah, it could be a traveler's bus, it could be your ST Mahamandal. Yes, what it does, it carries people from one station to another station, right? So the use of bus is done for carrying information, data, commands, or anything related for processing in a system. It can be current also, electricity also in the computer system, that is done by buses. So buses are used for communication or sending data or movement of data within the system, that is our buses. Okay, so we'll be introducing to our bus. That is, in a computer, bus is a subsystem that transfers data between different components of a computer, right? Like from one bus stand to another bus stand, one station to another station. Okay, so earlier computer used electrical wire to connect between two components, right? To communicate data between two components were only with wire, like your mouse and keyboards were wire. Nowadays you have wireless things. Okay, so today's computers use parallels and bit series communications or connections. Okay, that will help for long distance communications, or huge amount of data can be transferred using parallel bus systems. Okay, so this is just an introduction to bus. So bus is some subsystem that is used to transfer data between devices. Okay, so in earlier days it was done by wire, nowadays it is wireless, mostly wireless. Okay, your Bluetooth is wireless technology, but it transfer data between two devices. Wi-Fi is a wireless communication device, right? Or Wi-Fi communication platform, you can say, through which you can transfer data, or you can use multiple devices on Wi-Fi. Okay, so now what is a computer bus? Whatever we have explained up till now. So in a computer bus is a set of physical connection between two circuits. So it could be a printed circuit board, it could be a hard disk, it could be a floppy disk, it could be a CD-ROM, anything. So connection between cables of any two printed circuit boards. Okay, so it could be a motherboard also. Okay, so it is shared by different hardware components in order to communicate with each other. Okay, so it reduces the pathway between different components. Sometimes it is also called as data highway. If you might have seen in our India, there are some data communication lines which are kept under the road. Like Reliance communication wires are there, big orange color or black color wires are there, which are fiber optic cables. Okay, which are used for data communication between two cities also, you can say. Or if you are transferring data for a longer distance, that wires are kept in that way. Okay, so it is one of the ways of buses. Okay, but we know that in India always there is road constructions are going on, so these cables keeps on cutting, right? Whenever you see there is a road construction, you'll see some wires are cut somewhere, and you have a problem of data communications or reduce of network. So that is also resolved by using satellites or your towers for communication. So that is also Wi-Fi data bus for communication. Okay, so what is the characteristics of a bus? So bus can be characterized by the amount of information that can be transferred in a certain period of time. So at a time, at a clock cycle, how many bits a bus can send or receive is called as its characteristics, means how powerful that bus is. Okay, so you can see this bus, if two devices are communicating with each other with 32 bits at a time, so that bus becomes 32 bit bus. Are you getting me? So it is expressed in bits. So in older days, if you might have seen, those are like white wires were there, which were used to be which were used to connect your floppy disk or your hard disk or your CD-ROMs to your computer system. I'll be showing you those cables also in next practical, when we'll be learning how booting processes are there, what is BIOS, what is post. Okay, so in that time I'll be showing you those wires, okay, as an image. Okay, so those 32 wires which are in line, which are in parallel, would be able to send 32 bits of data at a time. So that technology which came up to 32 bit was like started from 2-bit data bus, one was send, one was receive, then became 4, then 8, then 16, from 16 it came to 32. Here in bus technology, the technology was, or the rate of data incremented was in the power of 2. So like from 2 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 16, 16 to 32. Now from 32 it has gone to, what is the double of 32? 64. From 64, 128. From 128, 512. From 512, 1024. Okay, so this is the conversion of data. Okay, so nowadays you can see 1 Gbps of data can be transferred. Yes, Pramod Wagh has given the correct answer. You can see he has written 64. So I'll do this. Okay, so in previous it was like these things are there. So the term used to define the characteristic of bus is like how many bit that bus is, what is the width of that bus. So that is 32 bit or 64 bit. You might have seen your computers also, if you go in properties of your computer, the operating system is shown, that is the operating system 32 bit or is the operating 64 bit. If 32-bit operating system is there, you can support up to 4 to 8 GB of RAM for that operating system. But if you have 64-bit operating system, you can have like 16 to like 28 GB or 32 GB of RAM can be supported in that operating system. Okay, maximum or minimum you can say. So some frequencies are also used to define buses. So the number of packets sent or received per second also defines the characteristics of bus. So that frequency, how many bits can be sent one after another on a bus, how much data that bus can handle at a time, okay, or per second, that is also a characteristic of a bus. So that is frequency, and how much amount of data can be sent, so that is the width of that bus. Okay, so how we can find the rate of transfer on those buses? So we know that our bus can transfer either 16 bit at a time or 32 bit at a time. So we'll take an example that in this only we are able to send 16 bit of data at a time. Okay, and the frequency of sending currents on those buses is like 133 megahertz. Now why I am saying currents, either it is sending 0 or 1, because computers are communicating in zeros and ones only, right? So the frequency was 133. So what is the transfer speed of that bus? That is 16 into 133.106 bits per second. Okay, so 106, that is megahertz conversion. So 106 bits per second conversion. So that is the transfer speed or performance of our bus. It's an example for you. It will keep on changing as nowadays this frequency has changed because new modern technologies are used. This is also changed because now number of wires or quality of wire has been increased. So this was olden technology. Nowadays we have SATA technology. Yeah, you might have heard SATA hard disk and all those things. Okay, so that is transfer of bus. This is the main thing that is for you people, that is types of buses. Now here the actual practical starts. Okay, so types of buses, there are three types of buses mainly called as address bus, data bus and control bus. So each bus generally constitutes of 50 to 100 distinct physical lines divided into three types, that is address, data bus and control bus. Okay, so there are other bus also like universal serial bus, that is your USB, and peripheral buses like PCI, that is peripheral component interconnect, which is on the motherboard. Is it fine with everybody? So this is how the buses are. This is the system bus, you can see, which is divided into control bus, address bus and data bus. Okay, so data bus is responsible for communicating data to CPU, memory and input output devices. Address bus is responsible for address, which comes either from CPU, which is found in memory, or the address comes from input output device, which is found in memory. Okay, because data in memory has some address, or if a data is coming from outside, it also has its unique address, which is given to CPU, by which CPU understands that from where that data has come. So that addressing where that data has come from is done by data bus. Okay, now who has given command, whose command we have to follow? Okay, if you are living in a joint family, or if you are living in a if you know our college properly, whose orders you will follow first? Your principal sir, or your HOD sir, or your professor? If three people are giving you order at a time, that XYZ student, you have to do this work. So if principal sir says one works, your HOD sir gives you another work, and if I am giving you another work, so whose work you will be doing first? I want answers. Whose work you will be doing first? So let's see in chart who's giving the answer first. Right, so you will be following principal sir first, then to whom you will be following? Yes, after principal sir, whom you will be following? After HOD sir, then after HOD sir you will be following me. Fine. So this is how the chain of command works. Okay, very good, very good. So your answers are correct, everybody is following me correctly. I just asked this question because most of you are inactive, only you have just started my live session and I don't know you were hearing or not, so I'm asking questions. So you have to be ready whenever I'll be asking questions, so you should answer quickly. So this control bus is responsible for sending a control signal from CPU to input output, or from a command from input output to the CPU, so that the system works in harmony. Okay, so again some are writing HOD sir, I don't know why. After professor only you will be listening to peons and mamas. Okay, so this is an example how buses are there on your motherboard. This is a printed circuit board. It could be of any hard disk, it could be of a RAM, it could be of a motherboard. This is the backside of a any printed circuit board. So these lines, whatever you see on these printed circuit boards, are your buses. So these are your communication points. This is the end of this bus. It might run somewhere. Okay, this bus is continuous. It starts from here, it moves here, and it goes to the outside world, right? This bus starts from here and it ends over here. So these are your communication lines. See, can you say this starts from here, ends here? So these are communication lines which are used for communicating either control, address, or data, okay, in form of electrical currents, that is zeros and ones, or so the way the currents are defined in the system in that way, okay, because it's an electronic device which works on clock or electrical currents, right? So now we will be defining what is address bus. So it is also called as memory bus. You might have heard, or I have explained this in our first unit, okay, that is first unit, second or first lecture, I am not able to remember, but MBR is there and MDR is there. So that MDR stands for memory buffer register and memory data register. So that will come in our this, okay, data bus registers. But here memory buses, so address bus carries the address of the memory which is to be executed, correct? So it transfers memory address to the processor in the CPU, or when the CPU wants to access it, okay. So this address bus is unidirectional, okay. Unidirectional means the address moves in one direction only. So now how this is possible? Why it is unidirectional? Because if we go on this last slide, so address is required by, or address is required by the memory, but data is required by the CPU. So what CPU will do, it will use this address line. So it will send an address from using this address bus to the memory, okay, and memory will send data to CPU, okay. Memory won't send address back to CPU, it will only send the data back to CPU. So CPU will just request, I want data from either memory, either input output, okay. That's why address bus is unidirectional, it is one directional only. Are you getting me, everyone? Okay. And when the processor wants to read or write a memory location, that location is specified in the memory, that is memory bus, okay. So what happens, this address bus carries the location, okay, where the memory is to be stored or from where the memory is to be read, okay, and then that is done by the data bus, that either this database will send the memory or it will receive the memory or data from this memory. Are you getting me? Next one is data bus. This is also called as buffer bus, okay, which is used to store data for a temporary period if you are saying primary memory, and if you are saying secondary memory for a longer period of time. So this bus transfer instructions to the processor or data to the processor. This is bidirectional, means data or electrical signal can be transferred in both sides or both the directions. It is a computer subsystem, it can transfer data between different components, okay. So it is 32 bit wide, you can say, means every second up to 32 bits of data can be transferred, means this is the characteristic given of that bus. If 32 wires are there or 32 parallel connections are there, means it can send 32 bit of information at a time to either processor or memory. It is bidirectional, remember, okay, used to transfer data or instruction to the processor, okay. Control bus are also called as command bus. Now see here, all the buses are having multiple names, okay. Your address bus has another name that is called as memory bus. Data bus is also called as buffer bus. Control bus is also called as command bus. Okay, so the transport command and synchronizes the signal those come from control unit and going towards the hardware component. So this bus is responsible to give the commands which are coming from the processor to other hardware components, or from control unit to other hardware components, that was this what this component should do. Okay, so that's why this is also a bidirectional bus, because if the command is given from control unit to that hardware component has received or not, it will send an acknowledgement signal back to the control unit that yes, I have received a command from you and I will be doing the command as it is, or I am not able to do this command, this is out of my scope. This kind of answers will be given by that bus. Okay, so it also transmits some signals for response, that is acknowledgement signals are there. Okay, that is a response from that bus. Now there are some other bus which I have already said, that primary bus is there. Okay, internal bus is there. Okay, so we'll go with primary bus, then chipset, and then PCI. Then our lecture will be done over here. So primary bus, the computer system generally consists of CPU, memory, and different peripheral components. So all the buses are connected between these components, and all the buses are called as system bus. Combinedly, all these buses are called as system bus. You can see here, these all control bus, address bus, data bus, combinedly are called as system bus. Okay, so these are internal buses of the system, primary bus, which are inside the processor or connecting this processor, or this system bus is also distinguished into internal and external buses. Okay, so internal bus, it connects CPU, memory through motherboard. Okay, or the communication done through motherboards are your internal buses. It also refers to as a local bus. Okay, they are very much involved in the local device. Now these internal buses are really fast, because if you are transferring data from register to a processor will be fast as compared to data coming from hard disk or input output board to the processor. Okay, so which buses are fast enough, internal or external, and why? I want your responses. Which buses are fast enough as compared to, or if we compare internal and external buses, which one is fast? Hello? Yes, okay. Internal are fast. The answer is given by Shweta. Okay. Then who else? Why? The question is why? Why internal are fast? Yeah, your answers are coming correct. You are saying that internal buses are fast. Why? Okay, you are just copying it from the PPT and you are posting it. Darshan, independent from rest system. I know it is written here, independent from rest of the system. The question is why? Because it is connected to local devices. Okay, Shivangi, you are correct. Okay, connected to local devices. Something more, something beside this. Leave this PPT as it is, or this screen, whatever you are seeing, leave it and give your instinct answers. Pranav is saying because they are independent. Okay. All are writing the same things. Independent. They are connecting local devices. See here, the main purpose that it allows processor to communicate with the RAM. RAM is a volatile memory, but it is very close to the processor. So the distance between processor and RAM is very close, and it is directly through the motherboard. If you remember any diagram of our computer system, okay, that it says that the processor and RAMs are directly placed on motherboard, right? So because of that, the communication between this RAM and processor is very fast, because data transfer on motherboard is fast. The bandwidth of motherboard communication is more as compared to external buses, because those two are on a single communicating device, that is motherboard. Are you getting me? Like your hard disk is also connected to motherboard, it is connected through a wire, so that delay of wire is there, but here there is no delay of any external device, it is directly through RAM to processor using motherboards. Okay, now yes, there are good answers are coming up now, so we'll move to the next one. So after internal bus, we'll go for a chipset. I've explained this in our previous assignment, that is assignment 1.1 or 1.2, that there is a chipset in our motherboard. Okay. These chipsets are placed on motherboard to help our processor to perform better. So north bridge is there and south bridge is there. So north bridge is responsible for memory handling and processor handling, and south bridge handles the communication between peripherals, that is input output, external devices. So it is a component to route the data between different buses. It is composed of large number of electronic chip. It has two components, north and south bridge. Okay, now this electronic chips means what? If a data is coming from input output device, that data first goes to the south bridge. The south bridge decides that is it a command, is it a data, what can be done from it, or we want to just store this data. So that segregation or that separation is done by this south bridge. Then that command is sent to north bridge. Okay, after this north bridge will understand that yes, south bridge has done the work properly. So data, is it to be sent to the processor or is it to be sent to the memory? That decision for processor or RAM communication, this is done by north bridge, and combinedly these two bridges or this chipset helps the processor for better performance. Are you getting me now? Then after this chipset there is a PCI, that is peripheral component interconnect, where you connect your RAMs, where you connect your LAN card, TV tuner cards or graphics card, okay, which are directly connected to the motherboard. That's why it is called as peripheral component. Peripheral component means any external component. Okay, peripheral component interconnect. Interconnect means directly connected to the motherboard. PCI. The components which are directly connected to motherboard, or the way they are connected to motherboard, is called as PCI boards. Okay, or PCI connections. Are you getting me, everyone? So it is used to address all the problems faced by a video or a disk. Okay, however, it has a higher performance bus, that is PCI, because of motherboard. It is fast. A general computer system consists of processor chip with high-speed cache memories. Okay, and it is a 32-bit bus capable of transforming 32-bit of data at a time. Bridge chipset allows system for I/O connection. So PCI is also one kind of bridging that helps for I/O connectivity. So is it clear to all now? So I hope you have understood the contents today. Okay, so the contents, whatever you have seen, or if you are not able to understand, you can go through the process as it is. Okay, watch this video again and again to understand the content, and if you have any doubts you can message me. Okay, I'll be going through your doubts. So only 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 people have only participated in chats. Okay, rather, like I see 57 students are there. Okay, those are viewing the contents. Okay, or you're going through the videos, but only Darshan is there, Payal is there, Pranav, then Sakshi, Shubhangi. These people have only responded and they are participating. Now the participants are increased. Okay, good. So participation should be more as expected, and number of likes are also very less. So can you see whatever is going on at the bottom of this screen? I have written that if you understand the contents, you have to hit like. So I'll understand that how many students are understanding. So number of likes are very less. Only now, like six students have left the communication. I don't know why. Now 55 are on. Okay, so yes, are you getting the contents properly? I'm here for your doubts now. You can ask any doubt. So summarizing this content, okay, if I summarize this content, what is bus? Bus is a subsystem of a computer which is used for sending data between devices or used for communication between devices. There are three different types of buses: address bus, data bus, and control bus, combinedly called as system bus. Okay, these are three main buses in our computer system. There are different buses also beside this. So there are internal bus and external buses. Internal bus, you can say PCI is there, it's an internal bus, or buses which are communicating on motherboard, those are internal buses. External bus which are done by wires. Okay, so internal buses are faster as compared to external buses. So your PCI that stands for peripheral component interconnect, which is there on your motherboard, which is used to connect external boards or external printed circuit boards to the motherboard. Okay, and allows a high rate of data communication because it is directly connected to the motherboard. Is it okay?